For more on the issue of university fees, we are now joined in the studio by Keletjo Mabusa, who is the National Executive Committee member of the South African Union of Students. Thank you very much for joining us, Keletjo.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's just clarify something from the beginning. As the union, are you pursuing a no-fee increment for tertiary education in 2017 or overall free education in general?
It's overall free education, and free education must be obtained in our lifetime, and we are saying free education and we want it now.
Now, how do you see the country achieving this? I mean, there's been many studies. We just mentioned one now by Professor Vally, where he said it's feasible and it's possible and government can afford it. But there are some reports that have been contradicting. Government itself says the country cannot afford it. What's your take on those reports that are coming out when you actually look at the numbers? Have you gone down and looked at the numbers? And is it realistic to have that demand of free education?
Free education now. What we are doing at the moment is we're consulting with our students. We're on the ground consulting with our students at the moment. Some are studying economics, some are doing research, and we're not economists. We just representing students. That's what we are. So we are doing consultations with everyone around, so that we can know how far can we go. But from our perspective, where we are standing, we think we can consult with the private sector. We think we can go to our JSE, we can go to our Chamber of Mines. As a whole, private sector should contribute, because they're the ones that benefit directly from the government. They're the ones that benefit from the government.
Now, you're saying that you want to engage with the private sector. Have you had any interactions with the private sector as yet? Or is it, one step at a time? You're starting with government and then we'll proceed to the private sector?
At the moment, what we have done was we set a meeting with the chairman of the JSE and the chairman of Chamber of Mines, and they haven't responded. Because from the Fees Commission, since today, we have been trying, and they're very hard to get hold of. So we're still pursuing that, and we're still pushing before we actually go and march and
I want us to talk about that march, but before that, you mentioned the Fees Commission.
Yes.
It's been meeting since last week. What's your take on some of the outcomes that have come out of it? Do you think it's what is the reality, or is it not achieving anything, or maybe the desired outcomes that you have?
Okay, at first we were very encouraged. When the Fees Commission was first established, we were very encouraged. We felt like we were taken serious. It's a step towards change, because last year Fees Commission was not there. That's why everyone was coming out and wanting to lead the strike. But at the moment, the Fees Commission is meeting with us so that we can try to find possible outcomes, because we also don't know the possible outcomes. So it's a consultative meeting. But at the moment, they're not giving us straight answers.
Do you feel like it's just a talk shop? Do you feel like everybody's going to have conversations, but at the end, nothing's going to happen?
I feel like they're prolonging, because the Fees Commission was established the beginning of the year, and now it's only August. That was our first meeting. We only did our first presentation on the 10th of August. So I feel like 8 months down the line, they're only coming to us and saying, oh, now we begin. And mind you, they're still going to other provinces. This is just the beginning. They're still going to go to your Nelspruit, your Limpopo, your Northwest. They're still going to go around the whole country to find possible solutions from normal community members, from workers.
And the various stakeholders,
yes,
I'd assume.
Yes.
Now, speaking of the realities that students face, and also these timelines, because it's quite interesting that you mentioned that the commission was established in January, or announced that it would be taking place in January, and it's August already, meaning that it's the third quarter, the third academic quarter, right? We only have one more quarter left, and then it's the end of the year.
Yeah.
Isn't that scary? Because some students, I'd assume, they're now afraid because they might not be able to write the exams because their fees are still not paid. What are the realities there? Because you are on the ground, you speak to students every day, you are a student, you interact with students every single day.
Yes.
What are they saying are some of the challenges that they are facing and some of their fears?
Okay, one of their fears is exam timetables always being changed, because test 1, test 2, yes, that can be done, but exams, you prepare You put so much effort into preparation for exams. So last year, Fees Must Fall was during exam time, exams were postponed. Some institutions, CPUT in particular, was writing their exams the beginning of the year. So for me, for a normal student, the biggest fear is you work towards qualifying for an exam. And once you qualify, you'd want to write the exam. You don't want to come back next year and be studying things of the previous year. So amongst those are our biggest fears.
I mean, and that's a valid concern. Now, there's always a fear that free education will not necessarily equal quality education. How do we balance that out?
Okay, since I mentioned that if we approach the Chamber of Mines, private sectors, JSE, and they contribute towards the free education, we can still have the same lecturers, we can still have the same tutors, we can still have the same system running for us. I mean, some countries have tried it out. I mean, countries like Germany, countries like Cuba, they have tried it out, and it's working for them because their private sectors are contributing towards that.
Now, we know that your organization has been meeting with various student councils around the country. What's the message that you're trying to drive at this point in time?
At the moment, what we are doing is we are consulting with our students, because at the moment, our only mandate is let's have a peaceful march to the JSE, to the Chamber of Mines, but what we need more possibilities from them. Hence, I said some are studying economics, some are researchers, so they can tell us that, okay, to attain quality and free education in our lifetime, this is the approach that we can do. Or maybe we don't even need too much. Maybe we need to just have a dialogue, sit around the table and say, this is a problem for everyone in the country. It's either you're affected directly or indirectly, but at the end of the day, free education needs to be attained in our lifetime.
Now, you've just mentioned maybe we should have a dialogue, and the Higher Education Minister, Blade Nzimande, mentioned that earlier this week, and saying that you know, conversations are going to happen, the commission is still taking place, a lot of discussions are going to take place.
Yes.
So then why so much pressure to have a march then? Why don't you just wait it out and see, you know, what government announces, or are you afraid that it's not going to announce the desired outcomes?
It's a win-win situation. At first, we're trying to see, because at the moment, the government hasn't announced how much percentage,
yes.
But at the moment, we are declaring we don't take any percentage. Whether it's 1%, we don't take it. So at the moment, we're just waiting to see how the government will respond to our call. And obviously, right now, we are in a consultative mood. We want to sit down, we want to debate, we want to come up with ideas. We don't want to burn buildings that we're going to need tomorrow. We don't want to be destroying the future of the generation that will follow after us.
We're running out of time, but just finally, now, if the demands are not met, so if at the beginning of the year or by the end of the year, they announce a certain percentage increase for the fees for 2017, are you ready for a national shutdown like you've been saying?
Yes, we are absolutely ready for a shutdown. Hence, when we speak to our masses, hence when we consult to our students, we tell them what are the possibilities of having a shutdown, what are the advantages and disadvantages, but we are ready for anything. At this moment, we are ready to take it out there until the world hears us and until the world sees that we are struggling in South Africa.
Keletjo, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.